on this Friday morning. You know, Bryce, before I get into this, I am a professional wrestler. Okay, not a real one like what you do, but like the steel chairs and stuff. Yeah. And I've always been so just infatuated with the work that goes into to wrestling itself in the real sport. And to be a Class 2A state champion for CM's got to be such a cool feeling, man. How do you feel?
It's awesome. You know, it's been about a week at this point, so it's dialed down a little bit, but it's definitely awesome knowing like I didn't just, you know, like put all that work in and got what I wanted. So, yeah.
Well, I got to ask, you were able to get any sleep after that night, after that tournament win?
It was tough. I mean, I was exhausted, but I mean, I was still like awake. I don't know how to explain it. Like my body was like shutting down, but I was still pretty excited.
Pretty wired, huh?
Yeah.
And what I think's cool, before we talk about your season, man, is just the tournament itself. Because we were talking off the air here just for a couple of minutes about the Parade of Champions and really the sights and sounds of that state tournament. If you could fill me in on what that experience is like being an active wrestler and going through that really cool ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool. Illinois does a really good job with their state tournament. It's really, really cool. But, yeah, they make it hard to not be like nervous and stuff, you know, because they kind of amplify how big. I mean, it is a big deal, but like you know, when you're trying to make a match not as big of a deal so you can perform, it's definitely tough when they like shut the lights off and walk everyone around and there's a spotlight on you and you're going and shaking your opponent's hand and stuff.
That's something. I'd be the guy that trips over myself walking around. Well, and before we go back to the state tournament, take me through the preparations for the season, because no one realizes, I don't think, how hard it is to really prepare yourself for the wrestling season.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was tough. I mean, this summer, I mean, I never really stopped training, but this past summer I kind of had to because I hurt my knee. So I did have about a 6-week or so break, and then I had to ease back into things. But I mean, yeah, just day in, day out training, doing whatever I could. Once the season started, I started doing like conditioning at the gym, like running and biking and stuff like that. So I mean, just a lot of you know, rigorous, hard, just working, you know.
Now, are you a gallon of water jug guy?
I drink a lot of fluids.
I was going to ask you, because when I was, a couple of the kids played soccer with me that were on the wrestling team, and I'm going, man, how do you even drink all that water? Yeah. How important is staying hydrated in this? Seriously, asking you is prep work.
It's huge. I mean, like, especially for like weight cutting, it's super important to be hydrated so that you can, you know, practice and perform well. You know, it's like everything really.
And then the conditioning side of it, because, you know, I think we all, you know, see the Brock Lesnar's of the world, you know, whenever they're at Minnesota with Shelton Benjamin and how cool that team was, but they don't realize how actually fit those guys are. Yeah. And whenever you're conditioning and getting your body ready, what does it for you? Is it the running on the treadmill? Is it stairs? What's your conditioning of choice?
Definitely like this bike that they have up at our gym in Leisure World. I've always called it like an assault bike, but it's got like it's like basically resistance. Like it's like a lot of, I would do 6 minutes with 30 seconds like 100% just going as hard as I can, and then 30 seconds just like barely pedaling in it, and then I'd just do that for 6 minutes because a match is 6 minutes long. So
makes sense.
So that. It's probably the thing that got me. I wouldn't say it's my favorite because it is not fun, but it helps a lot.
And I'm sure with doing that and the up and down and the highs and lows of that exercise itself is just like a match where you got to work smarter, not harder, in a lot of these.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I was just running, and then I wrestled, and then I wasn't super happy with my conditioning, so I started incorporating that bike into there, and from there on out, I felt like I was in pretty good shape for my matches.
Right on. And now take me through the season. You're coming off, like you said, you hurt your knee a little bit. You had to take some time off. Now we're getting prepped up, ready to go. Season starts. Did it start off pretty strong for you?
It was good. I mean, a lot of local competition isn't like, it's not super competitive for me, but I mean, it was good. You know, didn't get tested a whole lot until about like mid-December. We go to a tournament in Delaware which is it's a really tough one, probably one of the toughest tournaments in the country.
Like the state of Delaware?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not being funny because in Illinois there's like 45 Nashvilles, there's an Egypt somewhere.
Yeah. The state of Delaware, there's a tournament called Beast of the East, and we've went to that the past 2 years. And last year I went up there and I think I took maybe 5th or 6th or something like that. So I wanted to go back, and this year I was seeded 2nd, and I wanted to do well. I'd been doing my conditioning, and I was up at 165 at that point in time. But and yeah, I don't know. That was like probably the first hiccup in the road. Those were my 2 losses. Were both at that tournament. I lost to a couple of nationally ranked kids, and it was tough. Both 1-point matches, and I mean, that was a big thing for me, because I was at that point in time I was on the brink of wanting to go 57 or 65, and that kind of pushed me over. I was like, you know what, I can make 157. Those kids were big, and I want to go through this season and dominate everyone. So I made 157 from there on out. And
good call.
Yeah, that was kind of
good call.
The thought process. Yeah.
Hey, do you have a minute to stick around? Let's take a quick pause. Let me pay a quick bill. This conversation will continue right after this on your Friday morning on RiverBender.com.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our Friday morning on RiverBender.com. CJ Nasello back in the studio with Bryce Griffin, the Class 2A state champion for the CM Eagles. Before we talk about the state tournament, it's always good to have breaks because you get to talk about things, talk them over. And I got to ask you a little bit more about your academic ability, too, because, we started something called Student Spotlight for the folks at home that kind of follow along with us. And we highlight the students that do really cool in the classroom, do great things with community service. How important is it for you on the academic side, along with the athletic side, to really have both of them on the same page in terms of success?
Right. It's super important. I've kind of come to find that out, but it wasn't always super important for me, as is most kids. School sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I used to do this thing, and this is a true story. When the progress report would come out at Alton High, I knew, and 2 weeks beforehand, or actually the week before the report was due, the grades were submitted, I'd go talk to a teacher, hey, what is missing that I could turn in, and let's bump this sucker up and call it a winning progress report. And I do a little bit of negotiation. That didn't get me very far, Bryce. I think you made the better call.
Yeah.
And now, David, that's a huge college, and what are you looking into to do?
I'm wanting to go to law school, so I mean the major's kind of up in the air still, but that's kind of the end goal after my 4 years there.
What type of law interests you?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I've job shadowed a guy who runs a law firm, and but yeah, I'm still kind of figuring it out.
The reason being is whenever I was 13, I was a huge trial watcher, loved watching trials, and Jody Arias' trial was going on, and I watched a guy named Juan Martinez who looked like Joe Pesci and my cousin Vinny, and I swear this guy was just lighting people up, and I said, I'm going to be him. Then I realized all the work that went into it. Maybe it's time to reflect back a little bit, so it's curious just to see where you're going in life, and now getting back to the state tournament, what does wrestling teach you, just in terms of your personality, in terms of just that mentality to achieve outside of the mat too?
I think it teaches a lot. I think just when you really commit to a sport like wrestling, it makes a lot of other things seem easier, just because of how tough it is. There's so many different moving parts that you gotta make sure they line up together. And it's, but I mean, yeah, I think it teaches you a lot of, just grit. You got some things, they suck, but you just got to get them done.
Grit your teeth and walk through it,
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool. And now let's talk the road to the state title here. Mm-hmm. How does this start? So you got through regionals pretty, do you think pretty easily?
Yeah, I mean, I wrestled like 3 minutes total. I don't know. I pinned my 3 pins. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
So you get that done, and then what's the next step?
The sectionals, we went up to Muhammad Seymour, which was actually like a further drive than the state tournament was, which is
really
weird. It's weird, but yeah, I was there too, and I had 3 pins there too, so it was good. I had some tougher matches, but I was able to stick them all. So
what was your mentality? I like it. What was your mentality though going in, because you had a dominating season, 2 losses and 2 nationally ranked opponents,
right.
But you're feeling confident. Was your thought we're getting to state again?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think the goal was, it's all one match at a time. I don't want to look too far into the future, especially when you got a kid in front of you that wants to beat you. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think the goal was just to go out there and wrestle and and dominate. I just kind of wanted to set myself apart a little bit. I knew if I just got out there and did what I knew I could do, it would just kind of fall into line.
Well, I'm curious about it because, wrestling's one of those sports where your failures are your failures. Mm-hmm. You don't have a teammate that didn't pass you the ball or he wasn't open. It reflects onto you. Mm-hmm. And with that, how hard is it whenever you know that, hey, I botched that? Do you get used to that feeling of here's what I could do better eventually, or is it still tough?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I feel like I almost at one point in my career I got like too used to it, too okay with, like, oh, okay, I didn't wrestle that great, but I still won. And I think it's important to focus on like your performance rather than the outcome, like I won state, but like there's still some things I maybe wish I could have done better. And I think that's important to know.
Really cool. Yeah. And now as we get to state, you go through sectionals, you stick them, we get to state. And how does the state tournament break down? How many matches do you have?
So you have 4 if assuming you win all of them. Yeah, you have 4. And it was kind of cool because with the way that the other sectionals worked, like the 2 and 3 ranked guy, like all the guys ranked below me like had hit, so I was going to be able to get like number 10 in the state, and then the number 2 in the state, and then the number 4 in the state, and then number 3. So like I'd hit all of the tough kids, and I kind of liked that. I was ready to take it to them.
Was there any part in the journey in those 4 matches that you thought, this is going to be a little bit of an uphill battle, or did you feel pretty confident all the way through?
I was definitely confident, but I think like confidence kind of comes from knowing that stuff could happen. You know what I mean? Like I not being so confident that I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry about this match. Like I need to worry about every single kid because, I mean, he's a human being too. You know what I mean? He's a wrestler. He's been doing this the past couple months. I gotta lock in, be focused, and get it done.
100%. And now Parade of Champions. We circle back. See how I did that? You know, I kind of figured this out on the fly here.
Yeah.
As we get back to the Parade of Champions, last year your grandfather walked with you. We talked about that. And your coach walked with you this time. Is it just one of those things to kind of spread out the love a little bit, or what goes into that decision? Because that's a really cool honor to bestow upon somebody.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my grandpa is like one of my best friends. You know, I talk to him all the time, and so I think that was kind of the thought process behind that. He's super supportive of my wrestling, so I just, you know, bring him along with me. I think he liked it, so
yeah,
that was cool. And then, I mean, this year's kind of, I don't know, I felt like I didn't make it to the state finals as many times as I could have. I wanted to spread it out, and my coach is also, of course, a huge part of my wrestling, so I brought him this time. Yeah, I mean,
really cool.
Yeah.
Well, now we're getting down to the final seconds of the victory match here. You starting off the championship. Did you feel pretty good throughout it, or was this a pretty good battle?
I definitely felt good. I felt like I dominated, even though the score wasn't quite as stretched out as I would have liked for it to have been. When I took them down real early, I was looking up at Coach, and I was like, can I cut him? I want to let him up and take him down again, and he just told me to ride him. So I did, you know, held him down. I think I rode him for at least half of the match.
Wow.
I mean, it was a good, dominating victory, even though the score was only 5-1. I felt pretty in control the whole time. Yeah.
And now take me through, because last year, where did you end up? You were second last year?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good kind of, you know, comeback whistle right there, is whenever you're going, hey, I placed second, now I'm winning the whole darn thing. What's that moment where you look up, did you get the results? Is that kind of how this happened? You saw the results and were able to celebrate then, or did you know after that was over that, hey, this is mine and I'm the state champ?
Oh yeah, no, I knew I was
really cool.
Yeah, I was excited. Last year I had like the #1 kid in the country. He was at the weight below me, and he bumped up, and I didn't realize he was bumping up till it was too late. So kind of felt a little.
Yeah.
It was tough, you know.
Yeah.
He was really good, and I couldn't do anything about it. So, I mean.
So take me through the moment you find out that you are the state champion officially. What's the first thought?
I was just super, I think, relieved in a way. You know? I think a lot of people, and of course myself, I kind of expected it of myself, you know, to win the state title. So I think it was a lot of pressure off, but also a lot of, like, you know, I was just really proud of myself, the work I put in, and the people around me. I'm super grateful for all the work and time and money and everything that goes in from the people around.
Well, that was going to be one of my final questions for you, because, you know, I traveled the country playing soccer for Scott Gallagher, and I know the commitment of, you know, you're working 4 in the morning, you're getting up, going to work by 6, you're getting home by 2 to take kids to practice, and you're running around. It's got to feel pretty good to say, you know what, we did this as, you know, whether it's a family, a team, and really celebrating together that moment.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely awesome. You know, I came off the mat. I had a couple interviews similar to this one, and then I went up to the stands, and just like I was just like bombarded with people who came to watch, and like my family, and just it really kind of brought it all together, like all the people that have made a difference. It was cool.
Really cool. Well, now you're a senior. The state title belongs to you, and now we're heading to Davidson. Are you wrestling over there?
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And have you gotten a chance to kind of meet some of the guys that you'll be working with?
Yeah, I've visited already. It was like this past spring I went on a visit, and it was awesome. The campus is beautiful. I really like the coaches. I like the kids. They were super welcoming to me, and it was awesome.
Really cool. Well, Bryce, man, congratulations on being a state champion. And all I got to ask is that once you go to Davidson and you become a lawyer, you come back, so that way I know who to call if something ever hits the fan, okay?
Of course, yeah, of course.
With that being said, we'll take a quick pause here on our Friday morning, and our daily show will continue right after this in the heart of the 618.